These are the ancient roots of modern terror. Haunted houses that stretch back over 2 millennia, revealing how humanity's oldest fears became our most profitable entertainment. What began as Roman ghost stories and Celtic rituals has evolved into a $500 million industry that fills our darkest nights with carefully crafted dread. The story begins not in some medieval castle or Victorian mansion, but in the bustling theaters of ancient Rome. Around 200 BC, the playwright Plautus penned Mostellaria, the Haunted House, a comedy that stands as the earliest major Roman haunted house story we know of. But Plautus was not being original. His work drew from a lost Greek comedy called Phasma from the 4th or 3rd century BC, pushing the origins of haunted house folklore back even further into antiquity. The Greeks and Romans did not just tell ghost stories, they accidentally laid the foundation for every haunted attraction you have ever walked through. Their folklore overflowed with mazes and labyrinths filled with monsters, and as theater flourished in their culture, these ancient civilizations began developing rudimentary special effects to represent supernatural horrors. They pioneered fog effects, trapdoors, ghostly projections, and even fake blood and gore, theatrical devices that would evolve into the spine-chilling elements modern haunts use today. The Romans gave us our first detailed ghost encounter. In the 1st century AD, Pliny the Younger recorded what became one of history's most famous ghost stories in his letters. He told of a house in Athens haunted by the spectre of an old man with a long beard, eternally rattling chains as he wandered the halls. The story featured a Stoic philosopher named Athenodorus Canaanites, who deliberately sought out this haunted house after noticing it was priced suspiciously low. When Athenodorus encountered the ghost, he did not flee in terror. Instead, he maintained his philosophical composure, gesturing for the spirit to wait while he finished his writing. The ghost led him to a spot in the garden where, upon excavation, they discovered human remains in chains. After giving the bones a proper burial, the haunting ceased. This tale established many tropes we recognize today: the restless spirit seeking closure, the rational skeptic confronting the supernatural, and the idea that proper burial could lay ghosts to rest. The Celtic tradition of Samhain provided another crucial foundation stone. This Gaelic festival marking summer's end and winter's beginning fell on November 1st, with celebrations starting the evening of October 31st. The Celts believed that on this night, the boundary between the worlds of the dead and living grew thin, allowing spirits, fairies, and supernatural beings to venture into our realm. During Samhain, the lord of the underworld, identified in Celtic mythology as Don, was said to walk the earth alongside ghosts, fairies, and other creatures from the abode of the dead. These ancient traditions lay dormant for centuries before finding new expression in medieval Europe and eventually crossing the Atlantic to America. But it was not until the Industrial Revolution that haunted houses began their transformation from folklore into entertainment. In 1802, Marie Tussaud scandalized British audiences with her Chamber of Horrors, an exhibition of wax sculptures depicting decapitated figures from the French Revolution, including King Louis XVI, Marie Antoinette, Marat, and Robespierre. Tussaud's likenesses were unnervingly accurate because she had created death masks of the guillotine's many victims. This macabre attraction became a sensation, proving that people would pay to be frightened in a controlled environment. The Théâtre du Grand-Guignol, founded in Paris in 1897, took theatrical horror to unprecedented extremes. This former chapel, with 293 seats making it Paris's smallest venue, specialized in graphic horror shows that pushed the boundaries of what audiences could stomach. Under director Max Maury, who judged performances by how many patrons fainted, the theater became infamous for its realistic violence and gore. The Grand-Guignol's star performer, Paula Maxa, earned the distinction of being the most assassinated woman in the world. During her career from 1917 into the 1930s, she was killed over 10,000 times on stage, stabbed, shot, strangled, poisoned, and once even eaten by a puma. She also endured 3,000 simulated rapes, all in service of the theatre's brutal brand of entertainment. Principal playwright André Delorde crafted scenarios so disturbing that the theatre attracted curious visitors from around the world, including royalty and celebrities who came to witness the theatrical carnage. But the Grand-Guignol's reign of terror ended in 1962, when its final director, Charles Nonon, made a chilling observation. "We could never equal Buchenwald. Before the war, everyone felt that what was happening on stage was impossible. Now we know that these things, and worse, are possible in reality." Meanwhile, across the Atlantic, America was developing its own haunted house traditions. The Great Depression of the 1930s marked a crucial turning point when Halloween-themed haunted houses first emerged, as parents sought ways to distract young tricksters whose holiday pranks had escalated to property damage, vandalism, and harassment. Adults began creating controlled, frightening experiences to channel children's mischievous energy away from destructive activities. The modern haunted house industry truly began in 1915 with the Orton and Spooner Ghost House in Hampshire, England, one of the first recorded purpose-built haunted attractions. This steam-powered attraction closely resembled a carnival funhouse and established the template for commercial scares. In 1928, the Pretzel Amusement Ride Company, one of the earliest dark ride manufacturers, introduced the Pretzel Ride, which cemented the connection between amusement and terror. These developments set the stage for what would become a uniquely American phenomenon. Walt Disney revolutionized the concept with Disneyland's Haunted Mansion, which opened on August 9, 1969. Disney had included a haunted house in his original park plans from before Disneyland's 1955 opening, but he refused to place a decrepit-looking structure in his pristine park. Instead, taking inspiration from San Jose's Winchester Mystery House, he created a lavish mansion with an immaculate exterior. Originally designed as a walk-through experience, operational challenges led to its transformation into a dark ride, which could better control crowd flow and pacing. The Haunted Mansion's success was immediate and spectacular, achieving a single-day record of 82,516 guests. As author Lisa Morton observed, "A lot of the professional haunters will point to one thing, and that's Disneyland's Haunted Mansion. It's the start of the haunted attraction industry." The 1970s saw explosive growth in haunted attractions. Knott's Berry Farm launched Knott's Scary Farm in 1973, while evangelical Christians embraced the format with Jerry Falwell's Liberty University, introducing one of the first hell houses in 1972, religious alternatives designed to frighten visitors away from sin. In 1975, Jim Gould and Tom Hilligos from the Bloomington, Illinois Jaycees wrote the first comprehensive guide to creating haunted houses, complete with makeup effects, scene ideas, and marketing strategies. 20,000 copies were printed, establishing them as the first ever haunted house experts and helping professionalize what had been largely amateur efforts. But the industry's growth was shattered on May 11, 1984, when fire destroyed the haunted castle at Six Flags Great Adventure, killing 8 teenagers. The tragedy revealed systemic safety failures. The attraction violated a dozen state fire codes and lacked basic safety equipment like smoke detectors and sprinkler systems. Following this disaster, the National Fire Protection Association added special provisions for special amusement buildings in 1988, requiring automatic sprinkler systems and other safety measures that transformed industry standards. Today's haunted house industry generates over $500 million annually, with approximately 46.5 million Americans visiting haunted attractions each year. The United States hosts over 2,100 for-profit haunted attractions and an estimated 1,000 not-for-profit ones, doubling the number from the 1990s. Yet, like many small businesses, 60% of haunted houses do not survive past their third year. What drives our enduring fascination with controlled fear? Developmental psychologists suggest that controlled fear experiences offer evolutionary benefits. They let us practice responding to threats without real danger, while triggering physiological highs from adrenaline and dopamine release. These shared frightening experiences also activate our tend and befriend response, creating social bonds through the release of oxytocin. From Pliny's rattling chains to modern multi-million-dollar scream factories, haunted houses reveal something fundamental about human nature, our need to confront our fears in safe spaces, to transform terror into entertainment, and to gather in the darkness to remind ourselves that we are still alive. What began as ancient ghost stories has become a thriving industry built on our most primal emotions, proving that some fears truly are older than civilization itself.